Union Grove school board members agreed to resignation terms with the current superintendent. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
The calls by some to have Superintendent Kelly Moore let go stem from an ongoing investigation by the Upshur County Sheriff's Office tied into an alleged incident of a student filming another student invasively in a high school bathroom and Moore's failure to report it in a timely manner. Tonight we were there as that announcement was made as to what happens next for this school district.
Rising Board of Trustees, please accept this letter as my final resignation.
As School Board President Jody read the resignation letter from Superintendent Kelly Moore, a gasp by some, including Sabrina Richardson, who graduated from Union Grove in the 80s.
I'm very connected to this community. I know Kelly personally. I know she bled blue.
Moore served Union Grove School District for more than 2 decades in different capacities. But an alleged incident during the spring semester involving a male student filming another student in a bathroom stall has prompted an investigation by the Upshur County Sheriff's Office. And questions have risen regarding Moore's timing of alerting authorities to the incident.
Facebook Warriors 1. It's Union Grove 0.
In an open records request, KLTV obtained this email sent to the Upshur County Sheriff's Office from Superintendent Moore. In it, Moore states a video was sent to her in mid-May and says due to illness and summer break, her sending it over was delayed. In tonight's board meeting, Day read the words of Moore, who says the district is better off moving forward without her.
I respect her decision. I don't necessarily, agree with it.
Day would not outline the circumstances surrounding Moore's resignation terms outside of this.
Had she not turned in her resignation letter, would y'all have come to the conclusion that y'all did tonight, you think?
No, sir.
The Upshur County Sheriff's Office has opened a criminal investigation into the student who allegedly filmed the invasive recording and Superintendent Moore. Some school board members and people like Sabrina Richardson say they would have seen this process through without jumping to conclusions.
Union Grove will survive this. I think Kelly Moore will survive it.
The school district says former Superintendent Brian Gray will take over as interim superintendent starting tonight, and the search to find a permanent replacement does as well. Day tells me that the goal is to have the perfect candidate for that district by Christmas or even the spring semester. We will keep you updated as this story unfolds.